Deconstructing the myth. Are transatlantic records still relevant today? There was a time when crossing the Atlantic was not a routine journey, but a confrontation with the unknown. Each successful passage pushed the boundaries of what humanity believed was possible. Transatlantic records were not just about speed. They were symbols of progress, courage, and dominance over distance. To break a record was to prove that the ocean, once feared and mysterious, could be challenged and overcome. In the early days of transatlantic sailing, every mile carried real uncertainty. Navigation relied on stars and imperfect instruments. Weather forecasts were limited or non-existent. Communication with land was impossible once the horizon disappeared. Records set in this era represented survival as much as achievement. The sailors who chased them were pioneers, and their successes reshaped how the world understood distance and connection. As technology advanced, the nature of these records evolved. Engines grew stronger, hulls became lighter, navigation systems more precise. Each era introduced new tools that made the crossing faster, safer, and more predictable. Yet paradoxically, these advancements did not diminish the appeal of recording. They shifted it. The challenge became not whether the Atlantic could be crossed, but how efficiently, how fast, and under what constraints. Today, we live in an age of instant global connectivity. Satellites monitor every corner of the ocean. Weather systems are modeled days in advance. Sailors can send messages, track performance metrics, and receive real-time guidance from teams thousands of miles away. In this context, the question arises, do transatlantic records still mean anything? To some, these records appear outdated relics of a time when the ocean represented isolation rather than inconvenience. Commercial flights cross the Atlantic in hours. Cargo ships move continuously, guided by automation and logistics software. The Atlantic is no longer a barrier to communication or commerce. From a practical standpoint, breaking a sailing record changes nothing about how the world functions. And yet, the allure persists. Modern transatlantic record attempts are no longer about discovery. They are about mastery. They test the limits of human endurance within a controlled yet unforgiving environment. They measure how well humans can integrate with technology, make decisions under pressure, and maintain discipline in isolation. In this sense, the ocean becomes a proving ground rather than an obstacle. These records also serve as time capsules of technological ambition. Each attempt reflects the cutting edge of its era. Materials, science, design, philosophy, data analysis, and risk tolerance. Just as early steamships symbolized industrial progress, modern racing yachts represent humanity's ongoing drive to optimize, accelerate, and refine. Critics argue that the risks outweigh the rewards, that lives are endangered for achievements that exist only as numbers on a chart, that resources spent on record attempts could be directed towards safer or more socially meaningful pursuits. These arguments are not without merit. History is filled with examples where ambition crossed into recklessness, and where records were pursued at tragic cost. But human history has always been shaped by challenges that were not strictly necessary. Climbing the highest mountains, flying across oceans, venturing into space. These acts rarely solve immediate problems, yet they define eras. They reveal how societies view risk, progress, and the value of pushing beyond established limits. Transatlantic records endure because they are not really about the Atlantic. They are about the tension between what is possible and what is wise, between innovation and restraint, between personal ambition and collective responsibility. Each record attempt reopens these questions, forcing us to reconsider why we chase milestones that do not improve daily life, yet continue to inspire awe. In the end, the relevance of transatlantic records depends on perspective. To some, they are obsolete challenges, disconnected from modern needs. To others, they are reminders that even in a world mapped and measured by technology, there are still arenas where human resolve is tested without guarantees. The Atlantic remains vast, indifferent, and dangerous. Technology may have reduced uncertainty, but it has not eliminated consequence. And as long as humans feel compelled to measure themselves against forces they cannot fully control, transatlantic records will continue to matter. Not because they change the world, but because they reveal something timeless about the people who attempt them. In an age where almost everything is instant, perhaps the true relevance of these records lies in their refusal to be easy. They demand patience, sacrifice, and acceptance of risk. And in doing so, they echo a deeper human instinct, the need to prove that some challenges are worth facing, even when the finish line changes nothing at all.